Hey everybody, it's Jason with Parallel Reality coming back with you today with an article from The Federalist dated April 23rd. It's actually the day I'm recording it for a change. I actually get a chance to record during the week. And this one says, Joe Biden says there are very fine people on both sides of the October 7th debate. So he had his very fine people moment, as a lot of you remember, and I'm sure this article is going to go into it. I actually have not read it yet. But Donald Trump, a number of years ago, the press decided to play up that he said there were very fine people on both sides in terms of the Charlottesville riot and the regular folks that were protesting against them were basically Antifa. And the press took this comment that he didn't actually say and ran with it, and it's still being run as a hoax today. So let's go ahead and see what Doofus here has to say. Doofus being the president, not the writer. It says, why can't the president unequivocally condemn campus brown shirts? And if you don't know what a brown shirt is, folks, please go look it up. Shouldn't be surprising when you find out what they are or what they were, and are again. It says, I condemn the anti-Semitic protests, Joe Biden told reporters after days of anti-Jewish demonstrations at Columbia University and other Ivy League schools. I also condemn those who don't understand what's going on with the Palestinians. So, whoops. Someone explain to me, why does every single time something comes up about Israel that they have to add in the whole, but, Islam, the Palestinians, because they'll say stuff like, we should, like this, basically, I can, the representatives say they condemn anti-Semitism, and Islamophobia. It's like, where are the Islamophobic people? Seriously, where are they? Have you seen any? Please provide examples if you have, because, as someone who's kind of paying a little bit of an eye on these things, I certainly don't see that. I see a lot of Jew hatred out there. So let's get back to the article. It says, any morally clear-headed American already has a very good idea of what's going on. Biden is both citing the actions of keffiyeh-wearing terror cheerleaders on Colombia's Gaza Quad, who target American Jews who have absolutely no bearing on Israel's actions, with those who refuse to accept the blood libel of genocide in Gaza, which, by the way, is not happening. This is the kind of odious moral relativism one expects to hear from a squad member or clout-chasing far-right influencer, not the president. Yeah, it's on the both far ends of the political spectrum. And yeah, I always kind of wonder, what he says up here about these people have absolutely, the American Jews who have no bearing on Israel's actions. What do you expect those Jews to do? Do you think, is this one of those, do you think all Jews know each other? This dude can just call up Benjamin Netanyahu and be like, dude, can you, maybe not do something? And he's going to go, okay. And, that's the end. What do you guys think he's going to do? It's just Jew hatred is all. It's just anti-Semitism, folks. So it says, Hamas, the governing authority in autonomous Gaza, still supported widely by the Palestinian people, flooded over the border on October 7, 2023, doing that word that I can't pronounce right here that I'm about to highlight, murdering and kidnapping more than 1,000 men, women, and children in Israel, including American citizens, who, by the way, are still not home. Why are we not asking where they are? And why aren't any of these protesters saying release the hostages? Afterward, Hamas retreated and hid among civilians to generate as many Palestinian martyrs as possible. That's just a thing that they do, unfortunately, as the Israelis retaliated against this nihilistic death cult, keeping the civilian to combatant casualty ratio lower than perhaps any other instance of modern urban warfare. And I'd definitely recommend clicking on this link. The article is linked below. If for some reason it doesn't show up as a link, just copy what I have below and paste it in your web browser, hit enter, and the article will come up. But yeah, I did a video maybe a month ago from when you're going to hear this. And it was explicitly about the civilian to combat casualty ratio and how it's, like it says here, lower than any other instance of modern urban warfare, and also how Hamas is inflating their death toll. So I would definitely recommend checking that out. Back to the article, it says, that's what's going on. But because a not insignificant contingent on the contemporary left is now both anti-Semitic and anti-colonialist, the president demanded Israel stop before the job was done. And he is willing to sell out a longtime ally and forsake the lives of American hostages to try to entice the votes in Jew-hating enclaves like Dearborn, Yale, and the Washington Post newsroom. Nice little dig at them, because F the Washington Post. A number of people have pointed out the similarities between Biden's condemnations and Donald Trump's post-Charlottesville March very fine people comment. It's a good gotcha. After all, Biden has risibly claimed that Trump's comments impelled him to run for president, and it's for the third time. It says, there is, however, a key difference. Trump's garbled line was almost surely not aimed at taking torch neo-Nazis. believe what you like about Trump's motivations, but he also later unequivocally condemned the white supremacists on more than one occasion. Biden, on the other hand, can't even get himself to call out brown shirts without throwing them a bone. Also, incidentally, unlike the nuts in Virginia, these people will be working at our top law firms, in media organizations, and in the State Department. Oh, the president also wants you to pay their student loans. And I added the word student there purposely because it's, their student loans. This is earlier, the Washington Post, like most outlets, claimed that Biden denounces anti-Semitism on college campuses amid Yale-Columbia protests. While technically true, the framing ignores the president's equivocation. The denouncement was a pro forma White House Passover press release that spent as much space prattling on about a two-state solution as it did the protests. For comparison, Biden's Ramadan press release noted the terrible suffering on the Palestinian people, repeated fake Hamas casualty numbers, and condemned Islamophobia, but said nothing about the widespread outbreak of anti-Semitism. Yeah, that's what they do. It's, for some reason, they seem to link the two things when they're not really related to each other. Then again, Democrats are increasingly incapable of even talking about anti-Semitism without diluting any condemnation with mention of Islamophobia, as I was saying. You might recall a few years back, a certain Democratic congresswoman was going on about Benjamin grubbing rootless cosmopolitans hypnotizing the world for their evil. Hi, Ilhan Omar. Says, after a handful of Jewish Democrats complained about her rhetoric, then House Speaker Nancy Pelosi finally agreed to pass a resolution condemning Ilhan Omar. Thoughts and prayers to her starving daughter, by the way. Yeah, I'm sure her daughter's doing fine and don't care if she isn't. Says, by the end of the debate, of course, the resolution was teeming with platitudes and condemnations of a rainbow of thought crimes, with references to Alfred Dreyfus, Leo Frank, Henry Ford, and anti-Muslim bigotry, but not Omar. Yeah, and I remember the Democrats all celebrating, like, oh my God, we passed this resolution, and to condemn hatred. And it was like, but you changed the whole thing up so it wasn't what it was supposed to be about, you absolute spoons. We all have a responsibility to speak out against anti-Semitism, Islamophobia, homophobia, transphobia, racism, and all forms of hatred and bigotry, especially as we see a spike in hate crimes in America, is how Senator Kamala Harris whitewashed the rising anti-Jewish pronouncements of her party. And I'd like to see where she gets her numbers from here, because I'm going to go ahead and say I'm going to press X to doubt on that. I know it was a few years ago, but still. Which is to say, for years now, Democrats have been downplaying anti-Semitism as it creeped onto college campuses. Congress, the Women's March, Black Lives Matter, and now the mainstream. And now, here we are. We have a president who can't make a moral distinction between bigots and their targets. Yeah, couldn't really have said much better myself here, but I did want to go ahead and conclude on one particular note that a person that I follow on Twitter, Stephen L. Miller at Red Steez, an absolute worthy follow, very sarcastic. I've mentioned him before, kind of right up my alley, but I think this quote that he has here is perfect for this, to end this video on. So here we go. He says, if Donald Trump has an answer for Charlottesville, why doesn't Joe Biden have to answer for Columbia University? Because the answer to that is the key to figuring out, the answer to that one is the key to figuring out our entire current media infrastructure. And there you have it. So let me know what you think in the comments below. Like, share, subscribe, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.